We reported earlier that former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee will launch his second bid for the White House this morning. CBS News contributor and GOP strategist Frank Luntz gathered a focus group of New Hampshire voters, Republicans and independents. They talked about the expanding Republican field and what it will take to beat Hillary Clinton.
A gentleman who doesn't get much attention in New Hampshire, and yet he won the 2008 Iowa caucus, is Mike Huckabee. Back row. Word or phrase to describe him?
Unknown.
Stale.
Graceful.
TV personality?
Dull.
Nice guy.
Too quiet. Folksy.
So you guys like him as a person. Mike Huckabee is a presidential candidate.
Well, I think he's the antithesis of Chris Christie. You know, Christie is bombastic and argumentative, and he'll get in your face, where Mike Huckabee is way the other way. And, you know, I'm not sure we need an extreme in either direction for our next president.
I think his time has already come and gone.
He reminds me of vegetables. They're good for you, but doesn't mean you want to eat them.
You've been holding that one.
I really do believe that the Democrats did a great job winning over the youth, and the inspiration that was Barack Obama at the beginning is something that I think the Republican Party needs to focus on.
And we have the perfect opportunity for it. If Hillary is going to be the candidate, we have the sort of, what they used to complain about us is the old white establishment person. Well, they have it now. So we need to get the other one, and then maybe we can win.
There are two fundamental competing differences. A candidate who could defeat Hillary Clinton, who's the likely Democratic nominee, or a candidate that you agree with on the issues. Who says issues? Who says defeat Hillary Clinton? So essentially, we're tied. Why is it so important to defeat Hillary Clinton? Why is that the priority for you?
We've had enough of, I mean, to me, I look at Hillary as the Obama version 3 in the third term. And I think we've had enough of this for 8 years. It's the stale ideas. We need brand new ideas.
I think it's important to vote for a candidate that you agree with on the issues so that you can vote for someone rather than voting against somebody.
Supreme Court.
Explain.
Well, they're getting older. They're going to need to be replaced. Do I really want a Democratic candidate, a president like Hillary Clinton, to be appointing the next 2 or 3 Supreme Court justices?
By the way, they're getting older. They've always been older.
For ideals, I vote in the primaries. And for the general election, I'm for whoever's going to beat the person I like the least.
I feel like this is the first election where I'm on the side of to beat the other person. I'm usually the person who votes for like the third or fourth guy who comes in that nobody knows. But this time I feel like it's detrimental if we don't win this one, more so.
Frank Luntz is with us from London. Good morning.
Good morning.
So the question is, do they want someone that they agree with or someone that can win?
The thing is that they actually want both, but I believe when push comes to shove, in New Hampshire, they're going to choose the person that can defeat Hillary Clinton. In Iowa, I think they're going to choose the person that they agree with the most. And that's the untold story, that the very first contest for the GOP, there's a very different electorate. Iowa's much more conservative, more socially aware, more focused on those kinds of issues. New Hampshire is much more about economics. And so what you heard there with New Hampshire voters is the desire to make a change, is the desire to ensure that a Republican is the next president. Iowa doesn't react that way.
If they wanted to defeat Hillary Clinton, who would they choose?
Yeah, I wish I could tell. I mean, when 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, on your show, I talked about Scott Walker being a very effective candidate. I'm going to launch a new name for you right now, and that's Marco Rubio. Since his announcements, he has been doing better in most of the surveys. And Charlie, one of the things you got to know is these national polls are not indicative of what's happening in these first few states. The national numbers tells you about name ID. I only care about Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. And over the last 4 weeks, it's been Marco Rubio who's been gaining.
In fact, Frank, if you look at the Wall Street Journal, which has a poll out today, they say that Marco Rubio is the most widely acceptable Republican presidential candidate among likely Republican primary voters.
And what we have found, I'm going to give you 2 points to look at. Who is everybody's second choice? Because you can't be a first choice until you become a second. And Marco Rubio has surged that. And second is the ratio of positive to negative. And both Rubio and Walker have the highest ratio at somewhere between 6-to-1 or 7-to-1. No other candidate has that kind of popularity, which means that kind of potential over the coming weeks and months.
Well, this is Mike Huckabee's day-to-day. He's going to be announcing. What are his chances, do you think, of really winning the nomination?
Well, his chances are very strong in Iowa, where he won in 2008 against every expectation. He doesn't do as well in New Hampshire because they're economic conservatives rather than social conservatives. You can't count him out. He is the best debater in the bunch, and he did an incredible job in 2008, surprising people. But he's not a front-runner at this point because he tends to do so much better among the social conservative aspect of the GOP rather than the economic conservative aspect.
Frank Luntz from London, thank you.
Thank you.